everybody. My name's Romania Black, and this is probably one of the most unique things to happen on this channel in the 5 years I've been running it. Hunter. So, I have a big history with Hunter. Hi, Romania Black. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Hope you stick around. This intro is going to be a little longer than usual, but I promise you will be worth it. So, I'm an English teacher. I'm a speech team coach. I work throughout the day, and then at night I come home and I geek out and fangirl about anime, donghua, manga, the works, because I'm a geek at heart and I grew up that way. So I have a history with Hunter that is probably the most unique thing on this channel that I've done in the last 5 years that I've been running it, and I can't believe I'm finally here. This has been a long time coming. So to give you all a minute, very brief history lesson, I started this channel technically back in May of 2020. I had to restart the channel in December of 2020 because I was a young YouTuber and had no clue what I was doing, and some bots flagged a bunch of my slam dunk reactions. Long story short, restarted the channel back in December of 2020. During the beginning of 2020, if you were around during that time, if you remember vaguely what was going on, a lot of people were kind of stuck in their homes because of a pandemic. It was a crazy time. It's why I started reacting in the first place, to give myself something to do and to be able to talk to people, interact with them when I was stuck in my home. But during this time, my brother and I would occasionally, like once a week, visit each other during the pandemic. And my brother watches anime as well. And he was watching, he's like, I'm going to rewatch Hunter. And at the time, I had no real interest in Hunter. I was like, it's fine. I was like, I'm going to grade papers because I was still teaching at the time, just remote. And I'm like, I'm going to grade my papers. You have it on in the background. And we kind of watched Hunter together for a while. And then a couple months later, I decided to start my channel, and suddenly I didn't have as much time to hang out and watch with him. And then people started to go back to work, and the lifts of shelter in place kind of were released. And so long story short, I went back to work, started my channel, and we just kind of left it from there. So I know of Hunter. This was 5 years ago, watched a little bit of Hunter. I know Gon is the main character. I know about Killua. I know about Ahsoka. But people have been asking me if I've seen the whole thing. The answer is no, I have not seen the whole thing. And the parts that I have seen, to be honest with you, I was grading papers and not really paying attention. But over the years, people have asked me if I was going to watch Hunter, and I said, you know what? Eventually, once enough time has passed and I've probably forgotten most of it, and it would be imperative that I restart the whole series and give it a good college try to analyze and to review, I said, sure. So we had a poll back at the end of October to determine what long series I was going to be watching next, and Hunter won by a pretty big landslide. I mean, by 20 votes. It was not close. There were some really good contenders that got near Hunter, but Hunter won out by far. So that's why we're here today. So I'm doing this series a little different than anything I've done on my channel, and we're going to try this format out with the long anime, because this is a long show. This is a very long show. So here's how we're going to do it. And I'm going to break it down for you all before we even start. Hopefully that'll answer your questions so you don't have any. First of all, I am watching this series one season, aka arc, at a time. So the very first arc/season we're going to be watching is episodes 1 through 26. I am aware, the mods have told me there are 2 recap episodes in Hunter, and they are both in season 1. So I'm going to be watching 2 episodes every week with you all. So we're going to be looking at episodes 1 and 2 today. When we get to the recap episodes, I'm probably going to just review the recap episodes on my own time, talk with you briefly about it in the intro, and then we'll move on to the next 2 episodes. Okay, sounds great. But after the first arc/season is over, the first 26 episodes, we're going to take a break, watch a mini series of something else, cleanse our palates, give ourselves a little rest and relaxation after Hunter, and then we're going to dive back in with the next one. So here, all I did was I went to Wikipedia, I took a screenshot of this, I read nothing else because I didn't want to remind myself of what was going on. I don't want to know arc names, whatever. And once we get through this arc, we can know the name of it, whatever. But I just went online and looked at it and saw, here are the arcs, here's how we're watching. I am watching the 2011 version because, one, that was the version that I was watching with my brother. I know the 1999 version. I've seen some screenshots from it. I know it's really good. I'm kind of a completionist. I want to watch the series that's more complete, and that's the 2011 version. The next thing I want to talk about is the manga. I know the manga has been ongoing. I learned over the pandemic that the author is married to the mangaka of Sailor Moon. That is the coolest freaking thing in the world. I'm obsessed. I love it. Sailor Moon is what I grew up with. It was one of my OG jams. I am obsessed with Sailor Moon. I love it. I love that she married him. I love that. I also know, from what I know of the manga, is that his health has not been great, and that at one point she was drawing the manga for him, and I'm like, Sailor Moon's mangaka is drawing Hunter x Hunter, how insane. Here's what we're gonna do with that. At the end of each arc, while we're doing the other little mini series to cleanse our palate, I'm going to review with you all the manga. I'm going to go through the manga, review it, kind of like what I do on my channel with Jujutsu Kaisen, with Cherry Magic, and what I'm doing with Chainsaw Man right now. So if you want to go check out on my channel and see what those look like, Patreon only gets Jujutsu Kaisen. It's a Patreon exclusive. It's a perk of being a patron. You can go see my Patreon to see how that's all set up. But I am doing Chainsaw Man and Cherry Magic on my channel for YouTube as well to see, so you can kind of see how I do manga reviews by looking at those videos. But my idea is that I will probably do more, it's probably more like what I'm going to do for Natsume's Book of Friends, actually. I'll do a manga review at the end of each arc to go through the manga that has covered that particular arc, and I'll talk about the manga, I'll talk about extras that were included, things like that. So you can check out my Natsume's Book of Friends videos to actually see what that will probably look like when it gets to happening. But I've also been told by the mods and by Truck, who's a patron over on Patreon, which manga volumes align with which arcs. So your girl Romania is prepped. I have been prepping the last month, ever since Hunter x Hunter 1, with what I'm going to be doing with this series, how I'm going to react to it, how I'm going to organize it. I am getting it all prepared so that I can come into this with as much excitement and as much planning done as possible, because this is a daunting series to go through. It's 148 episodes. It's a lot. Even if when we're doing like 2 episodes a week, it's still going to be a lot. And we're going to be watching other shows in between to kind of break the series up so it's not just all Hunter x Hunter for like a year and a half. So that's what we're doing. Now, as far as how I'm reacting, if you go on my channel, you'll see different ways that I react. Honestly, the way I react to series depends on the studio. It depends on copyright and how stringent they are. It depends on their past history with other reactors. So if you don't like the way that I react, I'm sorry, but I want my reactions to stay up online on YouTube as well as Patreon. So what we are doing is I'm going to be having headphones in, and we are going to be doing what you see on YouTube will be likely the subtitles. I'm going to sync up the first 10 or 15 seconds so that you can see the imagery, you can sync up your own audio and watch alongside with me. That's what we've got to do. I can't have audio in the reactions because that's instantly like, check, not going to work. But in the link down below over on Patreon, there'll be a picture-in-picture where you'll be able to see that as well. You just won't have audio because I can't risk the videos getting taken down on my channel, even though it's fair use, even though I am discussing, transforming, educating with analysis. We have to do what we have to do because Hunter x Hunter is heavily targeted. So I'm sorry, this ain't TikTok. That's what we're doing. So if you are here to watch an English teacher go through Hunter x Hunter, talk about characters, talk about themes, talk about symbolism, talk about fun things, and then break stuff down in as much of an analytical way as I can do it, then welcome. If you're just here for me, and I'll probably be screaming and shipping and fangirling too, because that's just who I am. But yeah, this is not short form content, friends. Not doing short form content here. No. If you've seen my videos, you know how long I can talk. So that's what we're doing. And this intro, I know, has been way too long. It's almost been 10 minutes already, but this has been such a big undertaking. And as I am recording these episodes, I'm recording a little bit ahead now to get ready for Patreon. As we go through the seasons, I may adjust how I react depending on what patrons want. I support the patrons the most because they are paying me to watch. So I give back to those people first of all. But if you're just watching on YouTube and you don't have coins to give, I understand in this economy. Thanks for being here. Give a like, give a subscribe, and comment down below. One thing is, I am a blind reactor. I know bits and pieces of this series because even though it's been 5 years, my memory is pretty good. I remember some things up until the point where I stopped watching, and I'm not going to reveal what point that was until we get to it, but it was about halfway through. So in any case, Please do not give manga spoilers because I am going to look at the manga. Please do not give outright spoilers of major plot points. If you all want to talk down below and you want to like tag that spoiler, go right ahead. Do that. That's great. Wonderful. But otherwise, I'm excited to get started on this series. I'm sorry for the super long intro, but this is a very unique series. It's a very beloved series. I'm hyper nervous going into this because I'm like, girl, I don't want to trash talk anybody's faves, but I'm going to tell y'all, and you all know from my channel, I will keep it 100 with you all and be honest of my opinions. So this series, I know, has a huge stake in the anime world, and I want to treat it properly and with respect, as you all have as well. So that's where we're at, but I'm super excited to get started on this, so let's not waste any more time. I've talked for 11 minutes. Let's get started with Hunter x Hunter and get this thing on the roll. Get this show on the road! Shall we? Okay, so here's what we are going to do. We are going to watch episode 1, and I'm going to react to it all the way through, and then I'm going to record my discussion of episode 1 afterwards, and then record the reaction to episode 2, and then come back and discuss episode 2 as well. But when I edit it together, I'm going to splice episodes 1 and 2 together so you can see my reactions to both back to back. I'll timestamp them in the video on YouTube, and you'll be able to see that through Patreon. And then I'll also talk about each episode's discussion back to back. So we'll have 2 reactions back to back, 2 discussions back to back. That way they're not spliced in between and all that fun stuff. But yes, I'm also watching the Japanese sub. Now I will say, when I did watch the show with my brother, I was watching the English dub. So I remember some things with the English dub, but not very much because it's been 5 years. But I've never watched the Japanese sub before, so that's going to be a different experience. That's going to be a fun time. That's going to make this a little bit more of a blind reaction because I don't know the voices for the Japanese sub. So in any case, y'all, this is so insane. I can't believe I'm doing this. We're gonna start episode 1 of Hunter x Hunter. And we're gonna do that here in 3, 2, 1. And let's do it to it, Lars. Okay, yeah, we're gonna start right with the OP. Now, I feel okay with this OP and watching this because we're not at the part I've not seen yet. When we get to the arc that I haven't seen, then I won't watch the OP until it's safe. So that's also how I kind of roll with OPs, is just to be careful on that. But Hunter x Hunter! I also just watched The Summer Hikaru Died on this channel, and they have a Hunter x Hunter like little parody tie-in. If you know, you know. Oh, okay. One thing about this show, and I'm going to talk about it in the discussion, but the show itself, we're going to talk about it in the discussion because I can't focus right now, but there's too much going on. The character designs, the outfits, all of this. Is there a theme? Is there a unifying element? That was probably one of the most unnerving things when I first saw it. I was like, oh, the fashion is different for everyone. And that's fine. I love it. But it took a while to get used to because we'll talk about it in the discussion. Are we getting to Hisoka in this first arc? It's been a while. Oh, and Madhouse. Okay, Madhouse does this. That explains many things. Yeah, okay. Right, monsters. Not the one piece you're looking for here. I mean, who wouldn't want to explore a story? Yes, the world unknown. Ooh! As monster hunters? Oh, wow. There's a lot of people that they foreshadow from way early on. Departure and friends. The X's make me think of shipping, so get ready for that. Hi, Whale Island. It's like Pallet Town. It really is like Pallet Town. Gon is our Ash Ketchum. This feels so weird going back to the beginning of. Aww. Our little boy in nature. The Lord of the Lake. Very tenacious, establishing that. Oh. Well, Gone's built different. Ah. Yeah, his old man. I have thoughts from what I remember of the old man. They're not great. Sweet Gone. Our sweet boy. Hey, hey, old bobber. What's more innocent than a boy in a fishing pole? Oh, there we go. I get like a Luffy vibe from Gon as well. But I love One Piece as well, so, you know. And I think this started around the same time as One Piece, if I'm correct. I think they both started around the same time in the manga. Green is my favorite color, so of course, Gon's aesthetic I'm here for. Also, I too am a fan of shorts and long sleeve shirts. So it's hard to explain to people. Oh, wow. Yeah. Our titular hero, Gon. I just imagine he just got 8 and that was the story. Uh-huh. No, I'd like to think he's not his father's son. Oh, wow. Oh, Mito. I forgot about her, honestly. I know we're going to find out how old he is. Oh, he's so precious. I don't think she's his mom, though. I don't think she wants you to become a hunter. Because it's freaking dangerous and you could die. Man. Yeah. This dude. We'll talk about him in the discussion. Ging. Okay, so 12. Uh-huh. They do have the same eyes. They actually look very similar. So Gon is 12. I forget how old Mito is. Aw. This very much feels like Pokemon, like you're going off on your adventure. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, no, that's not the mentality you should have. Yeah, it's a dangerous job. We're going to talk about this in the discussion. But I want to know why my dad left me. Yeah, uh-huh. We'll find out. She's like, I can't stop this kid. He wants so much more than this provincial life. Jing. Yeah, Jing. Not Ging, but Jing. Jing and Gon. The G's are pronounced differently. Oh. Even though that's not what she wants for you. Aw. He's just pure sunshine. She must not be that much older than him, though. Oh. Oh. He's so precious. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, give him a damn hug. Oh. This is so sweet. Like, just building up how risky and dangerous. Like, building up the stakes in this one moment. Okay. Okay. We got this whole ship just for you, Gon! It's been in the harbor for years! That one girl's like, I was going to ask him out in a week. Not now. Be careful what you wish for. Uh-huh. Yeah, we'll see. Uh-huh. They actually stuck him on, like, the most dangerous ship. Hey! There we go! Hey! Oh, man. So excited. Gon has a way of being the most innocent, and then at the drop of a hat, he becomes super serious. And it's kind of scary. Also, there's Cloud and his sword right there. That's it, boy. Getting there all nice and deep like. You spilt food, sir. I also like the subtle jab that the captain is an alcoholic because of his red nose. Get them Granny Smiths downstairs, boy. Why all the seagulls all of a sudden? Storm's coming. Because I grew up on the island and I know? Don't you? You're a captain. Oh. Also, his nose knows. Okay. And he can't smell as good because of his alcoholism. He's so earnest. I freaking love him. I love Gon. I forgot how much I love him. Oh, did he know Jing? Maybe he knew Jing. It also feels kind of trolling for Jing to name his son Gon and the G's not pronounced the same way. Feels trolling. Captain, is every crew member on this ship wearing a crop top? We're about to cross the Grand Line, son! I just want this to be a crossover with One Piece. I feel like Gon and Luffy would get along great. The 2011 animation is solid. I really like it. But it's Madhouse. Why are we surprised? Okay. Oh! Hunter vocabulary. I forgot about this. Gon. Oh, precious. Okay. Somebody didn't take their Dramamine. Seriously. Who isn't sick? I'm gonna... This is the best weed I had back on the island, son. I'm gonna guess, yeah, they're gonna be fine. Uh-huh. I feel like the man with the suit should be on Full Metal Alchemist. I've always thought that. I always feel like he's a character that would be... He reminds me of, there's a character, is it Maze? Is it Hughes? That's on Full Metal Alchemist? He reminds me of that character a little bit. If y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. He's like, him? He's fine? I'm going to tell you right now, I ship it so hard. But we're not ready yet. We're not ready yet. Okay. Tell me your name, main characters. Kurapika. Leorio. Also, Leorio looks like a Trigun character as well. He's those dim long legs, them 90s long legs of anime men. Mm. Leorio looks like he would either be in Full Metal Alchemist or Trigun. Uh-huh, you know, don't you? Jing Sun, yeah. Oh my god. Definitely the Trigun pose. Naita would be proud. I love Kurapika. Hmm. I feel like Armin from Attack on Titan may have been based off Kurapika for a little bit. I feel like the design was based off of it. I feel like that's the case. Mm-hmm. It's like Lucille Bluth. I don't understand the question and I won't be answering it. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Right. And he's one of the people at the gates to say who's going to be able to take the exam or not. Seriously, though, all these guys need bigger shirts. It's okay to go up a size. True, so those people are all out. Nice. Ooh. So he says, I like that Gon, the 12-year-old, passes immediately. Oh. Mm-hmm. And they're the last one. The Phantom Troop. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yep. But, well, Kurapika's built different. All of these three are built different. Oh. Oh, bitch, yes. Okay, and the glowing red eyes. Yes. Freaking love Kurapika. And Goen's like, please, sir, don't get mad. Answer the question. Oh, who, me? Money. Ah, yeah! He belongs in Trigun, I swear. He does. He belongs in Trigun. Can't buy class. He didn't say he wanted women. Gonna put that out there. Gonna put that out there. I know he was reading the magazine, but you know. Ooh. No. Boys, boys! Mmm. Oh, I love it. Love it. talk it out. They'll handle it. This beautiful child, wise beyond his years. The most precocious. Oh! I don't remember this! No shit, James! Get back, son. Oh my god. I swear! I forgot about these shirts not being long enough. Did they join as children and have been on the ships? And why are we having a fight in the middle of all this? Why? Well, of course we are. I forgot we were having a fight. Oh my god. I forgot we had a fight in the middle of a cyclone. Like, everyone else is trying to save the ship, and Leorio and Karapika are like, we're gonna fight this out. Never mind. Ship be damned. No, Katsu! Oh shit. Yes! This precocious child! Yes! Yes! Ah! I'm realizing how much I did not remember from this first episode. Freaking Gone! Freaking Gone! Ah! Let's establish what a sweetheart he is. Probably. That old tick, but I knew you guys would catch me. It's all good. Katsu. Aww. That's so sweet. Well, sure. Aww. Realizing Leorio is a nice character, so we'll let it slide. Well. Go back to the first name basis. Hell yeah. Yay. I think my ship was born on this day. On a ship, so it feels perfect. Do they trust you, sir, as a drunk? Oh! Yay! Oh! Naturally, says Karapika. Oh! Shut up, he's too precious. Shut up. To follow in his father's footsteps, indeed. Okay, we're gonna wait on the end credits because we're gonna look at the end credits when we get to the end of episode 2. Okay, so we're gonna start episode 2 now, and then we'll have our discussion afterwards. But I'm so excited. We are gonna get started on episode 2 of Hunter x Hunter, and we are gonna do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Is this gonna be the same beginning from the beginning? Uh-huh. We didn't watch the ED, but we'll watch it for this episode. I may skip over the OP for this one, though, so y'all... No, I don't want to skip the OP because I'll throw the timer off. Anyway. I know some of these silhouettes. And some of those silhouettes are not going to come into play until much later in this series. So, playing the long game... being reminded of how much of a cinnamon roll Gon is just insane. Insane. Yeah. Oh my god. Also, the checkered briefcase that Leorio has is... Ah, Killua, my love! Freaking love Killua. I do wonder if the creator of Hunter x Hunter and Akira Toriyama were friends, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. I've read and watched the manga and the anime for that since I was a kid. And Killua and Gon, the similarities to Goten and Trunks, I'm just saying, they're there. So I wondered if Akira Toriyama and the mangaka for this series knew each other or were inspired by each other. I don't know, because they would have came out... Well, Dragon Ball Z would have came out much before this, so... I think. I don't know when this manga came out. I assumed it was the 90s. He's so precious! Shut up! The tests of Tess. Tess shipped with Tess. The SS Anne came into the dock. I also like the narrator at Doll Harbor. Or Dole Harbor. Take care of your liver, sir. Oh. Uh-huh. Don't pee on it. Uh-huh. I mean, that would seem, now that you mention it, Oh. So freaking cute. I don't think Jing cares, but sure. We'll talk about him. Zabon City. Right now, you are here. Uh-huh. Maybe it's like the movie Labyrinth, where things are not always as they seem. Well, head towards the tree. Yeah. I knew that. Exactly. I like that trust. Nope. Gon says, let's go. Well, but it depends on who you trust. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Interesting. Oh. Oh. Wait for me! Leorio's like, me naive? No. You guys would be lonely without me. Okay. Everybody's out getting crunk at this part of town. They're all dead, Mr. Leorio. Oh. Oh. Bring out your dead. Oh, I forgot about this Rainbow Brigade. I forgot about this. She looks like the grandma that was on Whale Island. This is Hunter x Hunter in a nutshell. This is Hunter x Hunter in a nutshell. Just batshit crazy. It's like the quizmaster in Monty Python. Answer me these questions 3. What is your name? What is your quest? What is the airspeed velocity of Laven Swallow? Ooh. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Ha! As if. Look at Gone! Gone's like, Mom, Dad, stop fighting. What a sweetheart. Oh. Gone knew. Answer the question of the Rainbow Squad. Oh no. Oh. That's a very subjective question. Oh. Oh, wow. Leorio, don't question it. Damn, okay. Okay. Well, but... Oh. Ah. Oh. Wake up, Leorio. What about Gone? Then answer the question. Oh my god. I'm just saying he's preparing us to beat this old lady up. Oh my god. Oh wow. Oh. Oh. Mmm. Oh. Wow. There is no right answer. Ah. Right. Oh yeah. Okay. Love it. I love it. Oh, I forgot about this. Okay. 2 hours and you'll reach the top. Okay. I barely remember this part. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay. There we go. Aw. Thank God you guys knew the answer. Did you space out, sweetheart? He blacked out. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Foreshadowing, huh? I don't remember if this comes up, but that is foreshadowing if I've ever heard of it. And Gone's gonna have to come up with the answer to that to make you think. The worst possible scenarios. Oh, the first moment of dread has sunk in. Yeah. Who are you gonna go with if you had to choose one or the other? When I first watched this series, I thought Karapika was a girl. Just gonna put that out there, but beware of magical beasts. I love Leorio's briefcase. I'm surprised I don't see more people cosplaying as Leorio. That's a perfect cosplay. I gotta take a leak! You're all dudes, take a leak in front of each other. Cabin in the woods. I forgot about this part. Oh shit. Oh wait, no. Oh, Kiriko. Oh. I think I kind of remember this part, but is he the guide? Is the guide the monster? Goen's like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of him with this fishing pole. Yeah. Ha! Krapika's like, okay, you're a farm kid. All right. I want to say, oh no! Oh no! Well, maybe not. He can talk. Yeah, no joke. say the Kiriko is the guide, but I can't remember. Huh! Now, are those... I can't remember if those people are... Huh. Oh. Hmm. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh. Ha! I just hit him. There we go. Oh. Love. Oh, love. Okay. Meanwhile, the most innocent being alive. She's like Pirates of the Caribbean music. Oh no! Damn, Madhouse. Madhouse just getting it all from the start. Okay. Ah. Oh. 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 Oh, gone. I forgot about what... Wow. Uh-uh. No, not at all! Oh. They look the same, yes! We are the navigators. Ah! Oh. Mm. Yeah. Uh-huh. The most vague of hints. Ah. Oh. Okay. Also single for life. Interesting. Yay. Helioreo's like, what about me? Oh, nice. Mm. Lirio as the caretaker. Yes, please. Yes, his kindness. Yes. Nice. Aw. Haha. What a sweetheart. Your superhuman physical ability and power of observation. Your main character syndrome has allowed you to be worthy of the Hunter exam. Oh. Oh, fist bump it out. Shut up. A face as bright as the moon. Isn't it great we all passed? Yeah. The shortcut to the mountain. Oh my god. Oh. 2 episodes in and we've not even reached the test. Insane. Insane. Okay, now we'll see the ED. Now we'll watch the ED. God, this feels like 2011. Did you order up some Dance Dance Revolution with our crew of Hunter x Hunter? Man, what a cast of characters. Oh god, get the screaming with Ahsoka. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know if I've watched the ED before. Get Killua with just the hands in the pocket. Oh my god. Oh wow, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Oh man, no, we're not watching the previews, but oh, we have quite a bit to talk about, y'all. Yes, indeed. Whew. Okay, we're gonna get started and do this discussion and bring up the thing here in 3, 2, 1. Wow, I feel like Celine Dion is playing in the background because it's all coming back to me now. Okay, I'm really excited to go over Hunter x Hunter with you all because on the one hand, I know some things that have happened are there that my memory is starting to get jogged a little bit. But the nice thing is, it's been 5 years since I've seen this show. And back then, I was not paying close attention. I was just kind of grading papers and going, oh yeah, there's Gon and there's Killua and there's Karapika and all this. So I remember parts and pieces and certain characters, but I don't remember like the nitty gritty. And now looking back, with what I do know, I'm like, oh man, we are foreshadowing. We are getting into all sorts of things. I'm like, this is going to be a lot of fun. And to go through, I'm going to be showing you all some screenshots here for this episode to kind of go through it. So it's not just me talking and, you have no visuals to see what I'm talking about. We're going to try new things. We're trying new things. And so I'm going to be showing you all some visuals as I go through, especially I feel since we have 2 episodes to get through, having visuals will help. I do have an assistant named Whiteboard Coon that occasionally comes out, but we don't need him for these 2 episodes. We're going to keep him in the wings. He's going to stay off screen over here until he is needed, and then we won't have the pictures like we will have over here. We'll just go throughout that. But man, I do wonder if Akira Toriyama and the creator of this series were friends, because there are a couple of similarities. I've started reading One Piece in 2002, and I've been reading it off and on for decades now, because that's what you have to do with One Piece. So kind of like this series, honestly. And so there are some thematic similarities with that series, and plus Luffy and Gon are Similar but different. So yeah, Gon is the most precious angel baby child, and if anything bad happens to him, I'm going to be mad because he's so sweet. He's an angel. I'm like, oh, Gon is so adorable. I love him to pieces. Whale Island. Just let's pluck Gon and put him on the most unsuspecting island possible to be raised, since his dad is the infamous monster hunter, you know. I feel like Jing took Gon there for two reasons, and that's my personal theory. Is one, because Whale Island is very unsuspecting, and it's like, where would you look for the child of Jing? Well, not on Whale Island. That seems pretty, you know, who would take their kid to a country bumpkin place like that? But on the other hand, Whale Island also requires a lot of self-sufficiency. You have to learn to kind of maneuver around. Like Gon, whenever Gon was going throughout the forest, I was like, oh, okay, he's learned doing that from being on the island. So there's like a training feature in it. I'm going to tell you all right now, from what I remember of Jing, I don't like him. So from what I remember of him, I don't like him. And our Mito-san, she kind of touches upon one of those reasons in the first episode. Now, do I remember everything about Jing? No. And I only got to like halfway through the series before I stopped watching, so I don't know everything that happens. But from what I recall, I was like, I don't think Jing's a very good person. He's definitely not a good dad. He just abandoned his kid on this island and was like, take care of him, bye. And we're going to talk about that with the hunter philosophy here as we go through this. So we start out on Whale Island, our precocious little pallet town location. It's a very simple upbringing. Gon is one with nature. He's just a simple 12-year-old kid that's had this upbringing with Mito-san taking care of him, and he basically wants to become a monster hunter so that he can find out why his dad essentially abandoned him. So that's basically it. He's like, I don't know why my dad would abandon me. That seems like a really deadbeat thing to do, but I want to become a hunter so I can find out why he did that. And that's kind of the motivation. I like that that's the motivation. I like that it's not, I want to become like my dad. It's, I want to find out why my dad's not here. What was so enticing about being a hunter that kept him from taking care of his own kid? So that's going to be a thing. We're going to get into that, I'm sure. One thing about this series that I wanted to talk about in the OP, and I said I was going to wait till the discussion to get to it, is that when you watch an anime, and usually an anime does one of a few things. Either it's a historical anime like Vinland Saga, or Orb on the Movements of the Earth, which I'm watching right now as I record this. They are historical anime. They are in a specific point in time. Everyone wears the type of clothes that is representative of that region, that point in time, that culture, and it's all historically accurate. So you have that. You have that anime over there. Then you have the anime that are specific to a time. Not necessarily a place or a region, but a time. So like a modern AU or a modern anime or a high school anime, or even if it's something like My Hero Academia and it's, has certain elements that it can be individualized, they're all like high school kids, so they wear a uniform, things like that. So there's that kind of anime. Hunter x Hunter, I think when I first watched it, it was almost overstimulating in the sense that I thought, no one has a uniform sense of design. It's like, especially when you look at Leorio, Kurapika, Gon, Killua, when you look at the four of them on screen, they look like they're four characters from four different anime that are in the same place. And it almost feels off-putting at first when you first glance at it. You're like, well, what's the style? The style is the element that this series, this mangaka is like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And I'm going to make this world whatever I want it to be. It's a fantasy world, so I can do whatever I want, and you all can't complain about it. And there's a ballsiness to it that I was not expecting. I do remember that there's one particular arc that I did get to in this series that I remember watching it going, when did this become this? And my brother was like, it's Hunter x Hunter. And I was like, what? So I was just, even in series like Naruto and Bleach, in those anime, or even One Piece. I mean, One Piece, again, is probably the closest example I can relate to Hunter x Hunter, because One Piece and Hunter x Hunter have arcs where they go into different, they almost feel like different genres. And you're like, when did this become that? And so like Bleach and Naruto stay pretty grounded in their style and in the setting, but Hunter x Hunter is just like, hell with that. We're going to do whatever we want and go into whatever kind of world we want, whatever genre we want, and you all will be fine with it, right? As long as these characters are here, is that okay? And at the time, it really threw me off, and I think that might have dissuaded me from watching more because I was like, I don't know. But now, looking at it, there is kind of like a freedom of form to it where I kind of respect that the mangaka is just doing whatever they want. Like, Mito has this futuristic necklace around her neck. That style element, you're like, but wait, this is a provincial town where they all look like they're from the 1800s. Why do you have a techno necklace on? What? And then they get to a town where there are buses, but there were like pirate ships and like the time frame and stuff. None of that makes sense. It's not coherently connected, but it's done intentionally that way. It just, the mangaka knows what they're doing and they know what they want out of the scene, but they're just kind of like, I don't care. I'm like, okay. So it's really interesting. Like there's hot air balloons at one point in this, and then there are cars. I'm just like, it's so unique. Hunter x Hunter is such a unique series, especially in terms of its style, because the mangaka just does not feel the need to bow to any specific trope archetypes. And I like that. I'm like, let's go. So Mito, we don't know how old Mito is. Mito looks like she's related to Jing. I don't remember if she is or not. She just has the same eyes. She literally has the same eyes as Gon and Jing. She has the same eye shape, same design. And a lot of these characters all look different. So the fact that she has the same eyes as Gon makes me think that they're related. Maybe Gon doesn't know that yet. Maybe she hasn't told him. Maybe she's Jing's sister. Maybe she's Jing's cousin. Maybe they're not related at all and they just happen to have a very similar face shape and design. In this series, that doesn't seem coincidental, but who knows? But yeah, she doesn't want Gon to go out and doesn't want him. Yeah, because like watch this transition. When it transitions from her to him, they look very similar. So I'm like, they have to be related. And maybe she just didn't tell Gon. Maybe she didn't want Gon to know because maybe she felt like that would hold him back from leaving. But she kind of doesn't want him to leave. But maybe she knew in her heart that Gon was going to want to go after his dad. And even though she doesn't want him to become a hunter, she's like, I can't stop him. So I don't want to make his heart be burdened with the fact that we're related and he's leaving me. So we'll see. But yeah, I also, right off the bat, there is this trope about he's his father's son, all right. Definitely Jing's son. Definitely his son. And even the captain's like, he's definitely your son, Jing. I'm like, everybody's making such a big deal about this, but honestly, Jing doesn't seem to care. So I'm like, I just feel like there's an interesting setup here for the whole like father, like son. I feel like there's a setup here and I'm going to be very interested to see where it goes with that in the series, because it basically, in a lot of stories, it's like, oh, well, your dad was this amazing person. We want you to be just like your dad. And then I get the vibes that Jing is not a nice person and he just has this infamous legacy, but he's not really a good person. So it's like, maybe we don't want Gon to be like his dad. And maybe that's going to be something we tackle along the way down the road. We'll see. But there's such a creativity with this series. I really, really like it. So yeah, like that face there. She has the eye and nose and cheek structure, the bone structure of Gon. So also, it drives me crazy that Gon is the G with the g sound, Gon, and Jing is the G with the G sound, so g and j. It almost feels like Ging is trolling us by giving his son a name that doesn't have the same like consonant sound. I'm like, the English teacher in me is like, it would be like if your name was James. And then instead of naming your son like John, like James, John, you were like James and Juan. And you're like, but no. It's just like, no. It would be like it's like God and Jesus, you know? Even though that is G and J. But here, yeah, it's just it almost feels like trolling. It feels like trolling. It feels like Jing didn't even care enough about his own son to give him the same consonant sound in his name. So yeah. I also love that Gon follows in the footsteps of every Pokemon game before him. That is basically because you think of I like to bring up Pokemon with this because you have like I think of all of the Monster Hunter games I played as a kid. Like my brother was really into Monster Rancher, so he played that a lot. My brother likes the Monster Hunter series. There's obviously Pokemon was the one I played the most. And in Pokemon, there's the idea that when you turn 10 years old, you leave home and you go on a quest to, catch all the Pokemon. And I feel like in one of the games, the backstory was the main character wanted to be like his dad and go on a quest too, just like him. So and all the other characters like, oh, you're so and so's son, and it's very similar to that. Which I don't know if Pokemon originally came out, the blue version came out in 1998, which is probably around the time this manga came out. So it's like who influenced who or what was influencing each other. There's all those questions. But yeah. So we have one shot of here's the thing also, Jing is his portrait's in the house, so clearly they're all related, right? Why would you have a portrait of a random stranger in your house? If they had just taken in Gon, like Jing showed up and he's like, here's my kid, boop boop, and then gave it to them and then left, and they were just adopting Gon, that would be one thing. But clearly they have photos on the wall of Jing, so he's related to them somehow. But yeah. And there's him with the smirk and the big sparkle in his eyes, and he has this badass motorcycle. Also, there's like pictures of people, like family and stuff, so Jing pulled it off at the age of 12. I don't know. I wonder also if the older woman in the house is the grandma, or if she's like, a house servant that has stayed there and worked in the house and taken care of it or something. And they're like, Gon's accomplished the same thing at the same age. His eyes have the same shine as his father's. Mito's like, I'm a little bit worried about that. Mito's like, Gon is a good kid. And I think she knows that Jing is maybe not a great person. And she's like, she doesn't want Gon to end up the same way as his dad. Because here's the thing. Jing has never come back to talk to any of them. So why would she think otherwise? He's like, yeah, I'm going to go. Your father. She brings up this point. She's like, your father abandoned you when you were still young. That doesn't really describe him as a great person, so he can go off and be a hunter. And Gon's like, yeah, I know. I want to find out being a hunter is so great. It must be, because otherwise, why would he abandon me? And it's like, I feel like one of the things we're going to talk about with being a hunter is, why do people do it? What's the point? Is it to help others? You have Leorio, who aided, even though Leorio says his reason is money. We're going to talk about that in a hot second. It's like some people want to help others using their status as a hunter. They can help others. They can be there during a crisis, kind of do like what Leorio did with the husband and get him fixed up, and he has this doctor-like skill. We're going to get more into that. I don't want to misguess what some of the plot points are, because I don't honestly remember. So unless I remember, I'm probably not going to say what it is yet, but we're going to touch base on it when we do. But it may be that reason. It may be like Kurapika, who's like, I want to go get revenge on this clan, on this group, this Phantom Troop. We'll get to that when we get to it. That I think the Phantom Troop is maybe my favorite arc that I'd watched so far. When we get to it, I'll be so excited. But anyway, they were like, I want to get revenge on this troop that murdered my clan. Get revenge. And being a hunter gets you access to so many different things. Fair. Or you could be like Gon, and you're like, I just want to find my father and figure out why he chose this calling and what was his reason. That's my reason for it. And the thing about it is, the captain on the ship doesn't turn any of them away, saying that their reason for being a hunter is dumb or their reason isn't worthy. All of those reasons were worthy. But I feel like the money angle kind of gets to a point about the hunters where some hunters are doing it for very noble reasons, like I want to be of service to people and be a help. Some are doing it for personal reasons that are, empathetic, like, oh, my family was annihilated and I want to go find these people and bring them to justice. So there's philanthropic reasons, there's justice reasons, but then there's like what Leorio said about the money. And I feel like one of the things we're going to discuss in this series is about power and corruption, and how getting that power is, a reasonable goal to try to attain, but attaining it is going to corrupt you along the way. And I feel like that's one of the themes we're going to talk about is that corruption along with power and how it changes people. And I don't want Gon to change because I love Gon. He's a precious little angel baby. I don't want him to change, but I'm worried. I feel like Gege Akutami from Jujutsu Kaisen might have put a little bit of Gon in Yuji, and I'm a little worried about that. So, But yeah, so Mito's like, I can't stop him. And honestly, Gon is such a great character right from the start of this because he's so precocious, he's so innocent, and he's so good. Like, he has such a kind, pure heart that you really connect with him instantly. But there's this bit about his character that at any given moment, he just turns a corner and becomes serious for a hot second. And it's a little thing, but you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. That's kind of nervous. That's giving me some nervous vibes when Gon gets serious. I don't want Gon to get serious. So it's like, there's just like a little hint of Gon's like limit and where Gon could get. And I'm like, I don't know. But I love the whole part where they do the pinky promise at the end. And then he does the little chew, the kiss. And as he's doing the kiss, you know, and it's very cute. But then as he's doing it and holding it, it's so innocent. And she starts to tear up because he's just so pure. And she's like, I don't want you becoming a hunter and this ruining you. I don't want this to taint that innocence that you have. And I don't blame Mito. I don't blame her, but she knows she can't hold him back. And honestly, this hug at the beginning, I do remember that this kind of sucked me into the series when I first saw it because, you know, it's like such an intimate thing. And for an anime to feature two characters from episode 1 giving each other such a heartfelt hug, usually for that kind of like intimacy, you got to wait like half a season, if not like 7 seasons to get to. And here, first episode, they're like, boom, hug. The stakes are set. You can tell from Mito's body language, from how she's concerned about Gon, that becoming a hunter is not sunshine and roses. It's very difficult. It's very strenuous. It's very dangerous and corrupting. And she's worried about Gon becoming corrupted and hurt along the way. And it sets stakes. I feel like this series, it just sets these stakes from the start. And you're like, it just sets them from the start. And I love that about this series. It instantly lets you know that this is not going to be like an easy little fun little adventure. It all starts out. This series starts out all happy-go-lucky, like, oh, well, gee golly, this is just a fun little time going to take the hunter exam. I remember there's a distinct turning point where I was like, oh shit, and that's coming soon. And I was like, it's coming in a few weeks. I was like, oh shit, this is not going to be a little happy-go-lucky, tee-hee, fun little romper ride. No, we're going to get into some dark stuff. And I feel like when I stopped the series, it was just starting to get darker. And I was like, uh-oh. So when we get to that, that's going to be a fun time. But yeah, I like that the way he leaves on this ship, it makes you think like he's the only person on it. And then you find out it's actually this crew of all these wannabe monster hunters. It's a great time. But yeah, the captain seems to know that Gon is special because he knows Jing. And I like that we get our first glimpses of Leorio and Kurapika. Leorio being our bisexual disaster. I immediately will tell you all, I ship Leorio and Kurapika, hands down. Ship them 100%. We're going to get into the whys in this series as we go through it, but I definitely ship them. I love how opposites they are. They're great. But also, yeah, Leorio as a bisexual disaster, 100%. Absolutely. So we get them, and we meet Kurapika from the start. Also, I just like that Gon is instantly perceptive. He knows there's a storm coming. He can sense it. All of these sailors, did they join? Was this Peter Pan's crew? Did they join as children and never left the boat? Because them shirts, I know it was a stylistic design, but I'm like, they just seem to be like 5 inches longer. Like cover up the midriff some. But yeah, So sweet. Also, I know that you could say the green apples are Granny Smith, or they're a type of apple that aren't that green is ripe. But when I think of like a green fruit, I think of like a banana or a tomato where it's not ripe yet. And so it feels very much like this is the start of the journey. So we're not at the actual exam yet. It's not time to get to like the meat of the story either. I also love that right off the bat, they establish that this exam is not just something you just show up to and compete in. Every step along the way is testing you to become a monster hunter, and it's testing you to become a hunter. I keep saying monster hunter. I think it's just hunter, but I keep saying monster hunter. But it keeps testing you to be a hunter, whether it's monster, whether it's bounty, whatever it may be. But it's every leg of the journey can weed out people that are not worthy. And so it, again, adds stakes to the story where it's not like, oh, we're just getting from point A to point B. At any time between those 2 points, you could get kicked out. So it adds this really cool element to it, and I really like it a lot. But yeah, so we get the storm brewing. We're going to go through this here. The storm brews. I love the animation. Madhouse does such a good job with this series. I've seen, like I said, parts of the 1999 version, and the animation is good. I feel like some people, it's kind of like, some people like, it's sort of like comparing Full Metal Alchemist to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's like comparing that. Some people really like the 99 version. Some people really like the 2011 version. I'm more in the camp of, I like a series that stays closer to the source material and does certain things. So I'm definitely glad we're watching the 2011 version. But if you like the 99 version, I don't blame you. I just felt watching the one that's more complete was the better way to go. But yeah, so all these guys get weeded out except for Gon, who's sharing his Herbalife, his supplements that he brought with him. And then you have Kurapika, who's just like reading a book, chilling. I thought Kurapika was a girl because of their voice actress that voices them in the dub, but they're clearly a guy. And then Leorio should belong in Trigun. The hair and the glasses remind me of a Full Metal Alchemist character, but Leorio's gangly, long-ass legs and those glasses and spiky hair, they belong in a Nightow creation. So yeah. And then, as it were, our three manage to make it to the next stage and have to reveal who they are and why they want to become a hunter. And so for Gon's like, my dad's a hunter, and so I want to go too. And the captain's like, I thought it was you. I left Whale Island because I want to know why my dad desired so much to be a hunter. I think that's important. That is our driving force behind Gon's character. He wants to know, why did his dad want to be a hunter? If being a hunter is so amazing, want to know why. If being a hunter is so terrible, why did he keep doing it instead of, coming to get me or being my dad or taking care of me? Surely he's not an asshole. Surely he's not that. Gon's like, that's my dad. How can he possibly be a jerk? No. I do remember at one point in this series, there is something that happens with Jing that I was like, what a jerk. And my brother was like, yeah. So we'll get to that. When we get to it, I'll call it out. But yeah. And so, of course, the captain's like, Whale Island. Clearly, this is, the day has finally come. There's also a very creepiness to this scene where the captain's like, the day has come when your sons decide to become a hunter. There's something, I like the theme that's getting explored here. It's getting brought up. The seeds are getting planted as they were, where it's asking the question of like lineage. And we're looking at, your father is this person, so you are expected to be on the same level as your father, and so on and so forth. So it's bringing up, it's a trope that you see a lot of times in narratives where the parent is either an amazing person or a terrible person, and the child of that parent is expected to be similar to them. And there's that question of, well, is that fair to the kid? If Jing is an amazing hunter, is it fair to put that pressure on Gon to do the same? If Jing turns out to be an absolute garbage person, should Gon feel bad or feel pressured that he may end up the same way? And so I think that we're laying the foundation of that theme, and I'm going to be excited to see where it goes to from here. So yeah. But yeah, so he's like, you're not supposed to answer his question. He's like, well, why can't I tell him why I'm here? He's like, oh, well, I don't want to reveal why I'm here. And then Kropika's like, well, I don't either. And that's when the captain's like, well, then fine, you can't go any further if you're not going to tell me why you're here. This is to weed out the people that aren't worthy. And right now, this kid that's 12 is the only one that's answering me and the only one worthy. And that's when Kurapika and Leorio reveal their reasons to get revenge and to get money. Although, if I remember correctly, there's more to Leorio's means than that. He's just kind of putting up this mask of, I'm just a greedy guy wanting money. And it's like, no, him healing the husband in the woods and showing that he's a kind person. I'm like, there's more to it than that. Leorio just doesn't want to reveal all those cards yet. He's like, yeah, I want a nice car and booze. And that's when Kurapika's like, well, you can't buy class with money. And he's like, well, you haven't called me Leorio-san. You've just called me he's like, you just haven't called me by my name properly. And then he says, I'll end the filthy Kurta bloodline here and now. Yeah, that was a little bit too far, especially after Kurapika just said he was the last of his people. That was a little rough. That wasn't nice. I'm just like, let mommy and daddy go hash it outside. And then Gon brings up this. If you want to get to know someone, make an effort to understand why they're mad. I feel like that's going to come up because these hunters all kind of get against each other and Gon's going to figure out, well, like, why are you mad? What's wrong? Why are you angry? And I feel like the thing that will break Gon in my mind is that Gon wants to understand why. I think the problem is going to be, and they kind of hint at it, is that there are people that just want to watch the world burn. And that's the kind that because Gon is like, well, he sort of mulls that over in the test in episode 2 where he's like, well, I don't understand. Like, well, choosing between this person and that person would be really hard. Like, who could do such a thing? And there are some people that would choose neither, right? And choose neither intentionally. And I don't think Gon could understand that. So it's going to be, our precious Gon is going to get tested. And I don't want anybody to hurt Gon. He's too precious in this. So yeah, then this cyclone comes up. I forgot in the midst of the cyclone, these two were going to fight. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then, of course, they're going to fight each other. And what gets them to stop is somebody about to go overboard. And of course, because they're both good people, they try to save him. And Gon's the one that can actually reach him. And then they save Gon, who saves the other guy. So it's such a good moment. I love that iconic shot of them holding Gon, who's holding the guy, like all of them working together to help each other save someone. It's such a good spot in this first episode just to show them all working together. It's so good. So good. If Killua had been there, he'd been standing on the ship being like, but yeah. And so they end up grabbing his leg and saving him. And I like that them assisting Gon helps Kurapika and Leorio to kind of like get over their strife and apologize and make amends. And it's really nice. So yeah, he's like, all three of you pass. And then Gon lets out the most adorable little chuckle in the world. It's so precious. I love it. So yeah, let's go to episode 2. Get past this OP. Captain lets them pass. And so they arrive on Dole Harbor is where they arrive at, which is where the exam is supposed to take place. And he says, as a token of my appreciation, here's some advice. Go straight to the cedar tree. And that would lead them to the people that are the watchers, the ones that are supposed to be the inquisitors, the questioners, all that. We'll get their name here in a hot second. Yeah. He's like, best of luck. Gon's just so freaking precious. He's like, rest easy, Jing. Your son has grown into a respectable young man. Also, I think that it makes a good point of like, how do we view people and how do our memories of those people, how are they relevant to our understanding and you know, legacy of that person? Because it's like, this captain clearly has a very favorable view of Ging, right? Of Jing has a very favorable view of him. So how does our memories kind of skew our perceptions of those people and those around them? So, I also like the map that they look at, the big, like, you are here map. Of course, Leorio almost gets tricked. Leorio almost takes the bus to Zaban City and gets disqualified early. But Gon, he took the advice of the captain who he trusted, rightfully so, right? This entire scene of picking the right place to go and avoiding the traps, it reminded me of the 80s movie Labyrinth. I love that movie, and this reminded me a lot of it. If she'd taken that route, she'd gone straight to that castle, you know? Such a good movie. But yeah, so our three trio end up together, and they go through this like dead part of town. Like I said, there is already being set up this eeriness. There are parts of this series that I do remember being like, oh, that's creepy. And just out of nowhere, like this part of town that nobody's there. And instead, but it's creepy. And then out of the creepiness comes something that's absolutely bonkers. And by bonkers, I mean a group of people with rainbow wigs in white robes and random musical instruments and animals doing a quiz show. Who thinks up this? Who thinks up this? That is so random. That is so random. Like, what's with the freak show, as Luario says? It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. And I was like, what the hell is happening? And my brother's just laughing in the background. I remember seeing this scene being like, what the hell? But I had forgotten about the two-choice quiz. And there's an important lesson about the two-choice quiz. And the important lesson is that there are not just two choices, nor should you make everything black and white and it's either choice A or choice B. Sometimes there's a third answer, which is to ignore the first two answers. And I love that this show brings that up, because when you get the first question, you're like, oh, well, I guess the way he reasoned, I guess it would make sense that it was the mom that you'd pick instead of the lover. But the answer should have been neither. You should have just not said a word, not picked either, right? You should have molded over, right? And thought about it. And then I like the reveal that the guy that left, they're like, well, we didn't say he passed. We just said he could keep going. And it's like, ooh, that part got me. I was like, oh, so he didn't pass at all. It's great. I also love the idea that this question is designed to make you think as a hunter. You'll be put into situations where you may have to choose between two people, but you need to know there's not only two choices on the board. There are other options as well. Don't limit yourself to just choice A or choice B, because there may be other options you haven't thought about. Don't stress yourself into making a terrible decision because you think you're limited on your options. It's a good lesson, and the fact that Gon's like, well, I hadn't thought about that. I'm like, feels foreshadowy, to say the least, right? Because, yeah, the guy's like, well, I've set all these traps. And he's like, well, how is that the right answer? How are we supposed to give the old lady what she wants? I didn't want to do either of those answers. And they can't go, otherwise they'll be disqualified. He's like, different people would expect different answers. There is no right answer. And that's when Karapika's like, oh, that is it. There we go. I love it. I loved this challenge, having these little philosophical moments that are like masked by this like kind of surreal absurdity. It's so good. I love it. Also, the fact that Karapika kept Leorio from like hitting the old lady with a piece of wood. That was really great. So yeah, so they managed to keep going. But yeah, the true purpose of this test. You must prepare to face the worst possible scenarios. Just ultimate foreshadowing, right? Sure it is. All right, so then we get into the woods. I did remember that the being there that looks like a kitsune, the Kiriko looks like a kitsune, looks like a fox spirit. I do remember the transforming magical beast. I remember that they were the guides. They were the guides that were supposed to take them to where they needed to go. But I couldn't remember. I didn't remember that they flew, and I couldn't remember that they could transform, or that the husband and wife, were also Kiriko. I had forgotten all of that. I just knew that the twist was that they were the guides, but everything else I was like, I forgot about all the rest of it. So, but yeah, Gon reveals how very observational they are. They could tell all of the Kiriko apart. He recognizes those instantly, which, that would kind of make sense, because Gon is from a small town where everybody looks where it's a small town, you memorize how everybody looks. They all look unique, so you can pick out those little details. Understandable, right? Love it. And Kiriko, we find out they use human speech, and Gon's like, well, that makes things easy. I can tell them all apart now. I thought this was a really cool little twist, that the guides were the monsters, because you're expecting the monsters to just be evil, and here it's a nice little reveal that no, actually they can be part of the test, and they're not just the ones being hunted. They're actually part of the squad that's determining whether you can be a hunter. So that's really cool. Love that. And then we get them all passing the stage, and they get to fly to where the exam is going to be. And that's where we end the episode. So yeah, I really love this. Also, the idea that they determine Karapika could determine the tattoo, like, you know, these tattoos in this region mark a woman single for life. That's a random thing. How crazy, but okay, sure. And then Leorio, he was able to treat them like a doctor. And Leorio was like, oh, shucks, look at me. And then Gon, who possesses main character superhuman strength and abilities. Love it. These were a great first set of episodes. I am so excited. I had forgotten what an absolute joy Gon is. I love Gon as a main character already. He's just full of joy and precocious, like, innocence, and he's so pure. I just want to protect him at all costs. And from what I remember, there's going to be some things testing him. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this reaction and discussion. This is a standard starter episode. Get us started, get us going. I'm sure that the discussions are going to get lengthy in this series. I'm sure these discussions are going to get lengthy. But these first two episodes are just, you know, just dipping our toes into the water of Hunter x Hunter. I'm sure they're going to get longer as we go, but more on that later. So I am excited to hear your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed this reaction and discussion. This was a lot of fun. And now I'm excited to see where episodes 3 and 4 take us. I need Killua in my life. I know he's coming. I just need him in my life. So with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'll be back very soon, y'all, with more of Hunter x Hunter. And I'll see you then. Bye.